In an urban survival situation, you'll always need to travel from A to B. Now, I could easily make this video a part of a new series, which is adaptable movement or movement, but I'm not going to, just as I didn't make a new series for the scooter, because both the scooter and this video, the nature of both videos, are concerned with conveyance. Okay? Now, the scooter is a conveyance, but this method is not a conveyance. It's a means of conveying self, or whatever you've got, from A to B. It's a way to abbreviate going from A to B in a suburban setting, streets. Okay? Once you've mastered this rule, there are a few things you can't master in adaptable movement. Adaptable movement is a massive thing in the military. Put it this way, the very best special forces operatives or soldiers hardly master the art of adaptable movement. It's so sexy, it's so sublime that it certainly isn't going to be covered by this video. It deserves its own advanced course, adaptable movement, and I may very well do that. However, it is in my, not so much in my interest, but it is my, and I'm not going to say not my prerogative, but it's my nature not to share secrets that belong to the army proper, and that's not to associate myself with the army or that I've ever been a soldier or a special forces soldier or anything like that. It's just to say that I think there are some things that shouldn't be revealed, such as not teaching you how to steal and not teaching you very well guarded secrets of the military, because that can be used to destabilize an economy. It can be used in many bad ways. I'm really pushing the envelope with what I'm sharing in this course, but it's all survival related, and it's just enough for you to survive, which is why I'm doing it. Because if push comes to shove, you can use your ingenuity, which every human being has, and work your way from that. Now back to adaptable movement and tying it to this video, this series that is. It's a way, this form of adaptable movement, abbreviating going from point A to point B, is as effective can be. You just can't get it wrong unless you're an idiot. And it's one of those things that simplicity is sexiness. And Albert Einstein epitomizes that. So these are lectures. It's generally not in my nature to give you university-like lectures. That's what these are. Even better, you're getting it for free. Jesus, this is world-class stuff. It's not in my nature to go around and around, but in a teaching environment, fucking oath it is, because that's the way I learn. Reinforcement. Continuously reinforcing the message. Succinctly, relevantly, but continual reinforcement until it sinks in. And until you can say, okay, this is what it is, this is what I think of it. That's how you learn. That's why I do things the way I do when I teach and make videos, whether it's in this course or anything else. Otherwise, I'm generally, yep, no, yep, bye. Anybody who knows me knows that. It's for people to turn around and watch this course, they'll be like, wow, is that how he really teaches? It's not like that in life. In life, he's just like, yep, see you, mate, bye. This few sentences, that's it. I'm very brief. And, you know, interestingly, that's how effective this method I'm going to show you is. Really represents the way I roll. It's just bang, 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 bang. And push comes to shove. So you've got this lecture that goes on and on, but most of the things that I go on about just happens like that, which is the beauty. Now, going from point A to B, having your bearings. Okay? Understand that in an urban survival situation, any situation, even homelessness, you're not always going to have internet access. You're not always going to have a map. You're not always going to have things at your disposal or things readily available. And even on many occasions you do, it just works a lot better for you. Things work a lot better for you just to confide directions in your mind, as opposed to continually flipping out your phone, where am I, or continually looking at your GPS and go, oh. Okay? It's so much better to get everything right at the start. And you can always go back to a map if you have one, or a GPS or whatever you have. if you start to realise something's not right, I've gone off, that's when you can regather your position and go forth from there again. But even in that, even when you do that, you can orientate yourself in the way I'm about to explain to you. Okay? Understand that when I was working at TradeLink, for instance, as a driver, which is how I started there, I would study the directions. Okay, I'm at Penrith, for instance, and I've got to deliver fucking 10 boxes of 90s at Jamison Town. When I needed to drive there, I would ascertain where I am, ascertain where the closest known main road is to the location I've got to deliver the boxes of 90s, and then from there, I would plot from there, that point, a sequence of L's and R's. Yep, you heard that right. L's and R's. This system is called the L's and R's system. LR. Call it the LR system if you like. It's just L's and R's. What are L's and R's? Left, right, left, right, left, 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 right, right, left, right. Rather military-like. But you get my point. So again, there I am in Corrine Avenue, Penrith, at TradeLink, with my fucking hot coffee in hand, about to deliver boxes of 90s to the first plumber I saw for the day, which I always loved. And I'd be like, okay, I've got, where am I? Oh, fuck. Okay, this is the closest main road I know to that destination, the place I've got to deliver these boxes. So, and this is the entrance, this is where I'm coming from. So if I'm proceeding from this direction, when I first get to that point, it's second L, 2R, third L, 2L, and I'm there. Yeah, that's it. Now, what these things mean, I'm about to tell you. Okay? Before I quickly draft it for you and show you, understand that this is a similar concept. Well, it's not a similar concept to the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, but the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon stipulates that nobody is further from someone than 6 degrees of contact. So if you want to speak to Donald Trump, or if you want to speak to the current president, Biden, or if you want to speak to some hot Sheila off the fucking, off some movie you like, they're never further than 6 degrees of contact. They might even be 2 or 3 degrees. But because the world is the way it is, no human is more than 6 degrees of contact from another human, even if you're in Africa. And that's not a joke. Okay? It doesn't matter who you are. Anybody that you'd like to know or get in contact with is only 6 degrees of contact away. And once you know how to manipulate communication and get from one point to one point, you can contact anyone you like. And I know that. So I'm never going to share that because that can be abused. But if I really want to speak to a president, I can be on the phone with them tomorrow. I just know the channels. I know how to do it. I'm definitely not going to teach you. But the point is, streets are the same. Suburban setting is the same. Streets are almost never more than 6 degrees of contact away from a main road that you know. Rarely ever. It's usually maybe 3 or 4 at most. But you'll start to get the hang of this system and realise, shit, there's a similarity there with the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, if you're already well read in that technique, that is, that subject, the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Okay, now I'm going to actually show you what this is. Okay, you have to give me a second. I'm going to draw a few streets. Here we are. I literally took a minute to do this. So this is what I've done. We're imagining this to be Blacktown. There's your northern marker right there. Everyone knows Sunny Hot Road. We're pretending that's Sunny Hot Road, and we're pretending these streets exist off Sunny Hot Road. As that says there, my approach is from Liverpool. We're imagining that for some reason I was shifted to the trade link place near Liverpool, and I had to go from that location all the way near Liverpool to Blacktown to deliver a whole bunch of plumbing supplies. Because I know that I'm going to approach from here, that is from this direction, I know which way I'm going to come already, unless something else changes, then I can put my arrow that way. But we're just going to say that's where I'm coming from. Don't worry about the changes and what could happen. We're just pretending that this is exactly where I'm coming from. So I'm heading in a northern direction. So what you'd put at first is A, north, dot. It's that simple. Approach, north, dot. And just to remind you of what road you're doing that on, you don't have to do this. You just put Sunny Hot Road. Most of the time you won't need to put that there. You just already know what the approach is, what road you're going to take. We're imagining that I plotted all this whilst I was in Liverpool. Okay, that being, I know I'm going onto Sunny Hot Road, heading north, and from there, once I've passed this point, this is how many L's and R's it's going to take. Obviously, it would be a bit different if it was all the way back down here and there were more streets around there, but we're imagining that this is where Sunny Hot Road starts and that this is Blacktown Road. Because that is actually how Sunny Hot Road works. And we're imagining that from Blacktown Road, where it ends, this is where Sunny Hot Road starts. And I'm imagining that I'm heading north. That's what we're saying is happening. So, approach, which is the A, NTH, north. A, NTH. It's that simple. And again, you can write on top of it what road that is, but most of the time, I'm sure you'll remember exactly where. ANTH. Okay, now we want to get to Fuck Knob Street from this point here. It's pretty clear by looking at this that's the best way. Coming around here, LRR. So what's this? An R. What's that? Another R. What's this? An L. What's this? L. R. And it's a very sharp LR. And then R. So if you add them all together, R, R, L, L, R, R. All you've got to do now that's it. You're at Fuck Knob Street. So, if you can remember that, Sunny Hot Road, or A north dot R dot R dot L dot L dot R dot R, you'll get there every time. And the way I do it in my head would be approach north, R R L L R R. That's what I'd actually do. I'd sing that to myself while I'm on the road, driving, going, approach north, R R L L R R. Approach north, R R L L R R. And I'd sing that the whole way. But Now, after I could probably say it once or twice, and I'd probably remember it by the time I get there. But it helps to sing it in your head because you're going to guarantee you're going to get there. It's again to make a rap of it. A north, right, right, left, left, right, right. A north, R. A north, Robert, Robert, loser, loser, Robert, Robert. You can do anything you like. Now, here's what I want to explain to you. You've got to get this right, okay? Now let's pretend that this was connected here. Okay. Now we can rub out all these because that changes everything. The fact that this is one whole road means we don't have to go through all these bullshit streets which I've invented, which rarely ever happens. So I rub all these out, except the first one. Okay. Now, this changes. Okay. We'll cross that out. That was right for the first one before that modification. Now this is the second one with the modification, knowing that there's a whole street connected, which is the same fucking street. We're going to give new directions. So it's still A naught, A and T, H. But now it's R, second R. So in your head, you'll still have approach north, R, second R. Okay, note you'll always have to put second, third, fourth, and so on if you've got numerous streets that are also right before the right-hand turn you're making. Second R. Okay, it's that easy. So approach is north, R, second R, and you're there. Now we're going to make a third modification. We're going to go back to the original. And imagine that street is no longer there. So we're going to go back and do the exact same thing we did before. L is there. So why am I going back to the original when we've already done it? Which is right, right, left, left, right, right. Because there's a way you can do it that makes it easier, but this is when you start to get a bit advanced. Again, still A north, but 2R, 2L, 2R. See what I've done there? It's the exact same thing as the first, which I've crossed out, but you can do it as 2R, 2L, 2R. Now, what the hell is the difference between 2R and second R? It's pretty obvious. 2R means that you take 2 immediate right turns. Second R means you take the second right turn. So the shortcut, putting a 2 next to the R, only works when they're immediate turns. So whether that's immediate left-hand turns or immediate right-hand turns. So it's to get to any location on this planet, all you've got to do is put a direction next to the approach, which is the A. That could be STH, it could be WST, or it could be EST. in this case it's north. And once you know your approach, which is always going to be a place you know by heart, or at least one that you know, once you know that exact place and the exact entrance point of that road and the direction that you're traveling on, hence this part here, then all you've got to do is what's next to the AMTH. Dot to R, dot to L, dot to R. Or, with the second modification, dot R, dot second R. Note that the third modification, or the third, or the, really that's the second modification. Note that the third one, which is the second modification, is the exact same as the first. It's just that the first one is a longer way of doing the second modification, the third one. And there you go. You can go absolutely anywhere on this planet by using that system. Just a system of R's and L's. Okay, and here's where that works really well in a survival environment. Not only can you use it to succinctly or encapsulate where you're going, or I should say abbreviate where you're going, to make life easier for you, so you don't have to keep on taking devices out, so you can focus on what you're doing, you can focus on the road, you can focus on hazards, especially in a real catastrophe. You can also use that as a special code system. Okay? Because there are so many streets on this earth, no one is going to know where you're traveling if they intercept a whole bunch of L's and R's. They're going to go, what the fuck? So let's just say you must use the waves. That is, you must speak over the phone in an emergency situation, or even write something on a building. Okay? Let's just say it's, for instance, it's a massive pandemic. Everyone has to evacuate a city. Everyone had to leave their homes. And you wanted to give directions to family members on where to meet you. And you agreed that you'd tell them where you are by writing the directions to where you're going on the local church, at the local church. So you, Steve McBob, has called your family and said, oh yeah, I'm going to write where I'm going on the local church wall in chalk. Go there, find it in chalk. If you don't find it, give me a call back and I'll arrange something else. But it should be there. Look on the wall, on this wall, for the directions. It'll be there. And that's when you can go approach west, for instance. Note that this has nothing to do with that, yeah? This is just figurative, imaginary. We're imagining it exists. Then you can go, for instance, 3L, second R. There you go. Here's the beauty of this. This will mean nothing to the people you're giving directions to unless you write a known road. And to codify that road so nobody intercepts it, you can write on the church wall, let's think of a code word. Big Bob. Okay? Now, if anybody intercepts this on the church wall and they see Big Bob, AWST.3L second RR, they're going to go, what the flying fuck is Big Bob? But everybody in the family knows what road that is. It's agreed upon. So seeing that on the church wall, oh, I know Big Bob. And if it says approach west, they'll know that by entering the Big Bob, which is a particular road, travelling westbound, all they've got to do from there is 3L second RR, and they're exactly on the street that you're waiting for them at. And that's it. That's how you codify directions in an urban environment in a major catastrophe. Again, whether you want to write that on the church wall, whether you want to send that as an SMS, whether you want to send that as an email, or whether you want to do it through a fucking cup, however you arrange your communications, as spoken in another video on emergency signaling or urban survival signaling, a standalone video, not in a series. So it's as simple as that. However you choose to signal this information as part of your special urban survival network, which is usually your family and friends, is up to you. You know, you could write it on their fucking car. That's not the point. The point is that's it there. And that there correlates to this system. It's got nothing to do with this example, but that correlates to this system. And you can use this in any place, anywhere, anytime, in any country, in any urban environment. It's bulletproof. And that's how you may save your family in an urban catastrophe, by giving them directions nobody can follow. It does lean towards military style directions, which I shouldn't give out, but it's borderlining it. That's not really sacrilegious. I'm not really breaking military codes or operation norms by showing you that. I would if I go a bit deeper, but I won't do that. However, I may make an advanced series on that concept just for an urban survival situation, which is still not pushing it beyond that line where it would start to be wrong, where I'd start to give away military information, secret information. How do I know all that information? As I've said in my personal videos, and my uncle was in the Australian Army, my grandfather was in pretty much the British Army, Maltese under the British, that is, the KOMR, King's Own Maltese Regiment, and I've just studied that all my life, army stuff, strategy. So I know how to do all this stuff without even being a soldier. Make what you want of that. So yeah, there you have it. That's your bulletproof method of giving directions in an urban catastrophe, as well as summing briefly and effectively directions so you can get somewhere without having to distract yourself with too many devices and gadgets.